Yo, hi. Forgot to make an intro for this video, but as you can see by the title of the video, I'm gonna be showing you my go-to, my favorite chapati recipe, which is peanut butter chapatis. I know that seems a little bit weird. You may never have heard of it, but I'm gonna show you today. It's hella delicious. I always play around with the things that I add into my chapati dough, and this just happens to be my favorite addition, peanut butter, so far. Enjoy. Put your head on my shoulder. Hold me in your arms. Straight to ingredients. First thing is our chapati flour, which is wheat flour. Then salt right there on the left, and then your vegetable oil, some peanut butter, don't mind mine, zilikuwa karibu kuisha, then some lukewarm water for the mixing. So you'll start off, of course, by pouring your flour into the bowl you will choose to mix your dough in. So I used 3/4 of this packet, 3/4 of this packet, and yeah, it made 24 chapatis in total. Then we go ahead and put in the salt. I don't actually use measurements when I'm cooking, so bear with me. That's peanut butter, not poop. Just thought I'd put that out there in case anybody was thinking that. And you can see I'm vigorously shaking the remaining peanut butter because I didn't really have much and I didn't think I would have enough for the entire recipe, but it turned out really nicely. You know, quarantine things. I usually use the smooth Skippy. It comes in a red container, like the stickers are red. So yeah, it's really smooth and it doesn't require me to like smoothen the peanut butter out, which is what I'm doing here with the lukewarm water. So yeah, I've already started mixing my dough. The water is guiding me in smoothening out the peanut butter as well as mixing the dough. So far, peanut butter, salt, and flour in the dough so far. So we're just gonna go ahead and mix and just keep adding water until the dough gets to a consistency that is not sticky. Yeah, that's the aim. That's the aim. So yeah. And in as much as you are adding water to the dough, oil is also a necessity in terms of achieving the consistency and texture that you want your dough to get. Yeah. So I'll just keep playing around with oil and flour because by the time I'm starting to add oil, my water is enough. So I'll just keep on adding my oil and adding my flour, playing around with the two of them until I get to the texture that I want. Texture and consistency might be the words you hear me say the most in this video. But yeah, those are the two most important things when you're making your dough for any recipe that requires dough before you actually start the cooking process. So yeah, using the flour to get the excess dough out of my hands. The oil also works with this, but flour works better. So you can see the texture has drastically changed. Yes, and now I'm just adding a little bit more oil to reduce the stickiness of the dough. Nataki dough. Cringe. So with a dish towel, I'll just go ahead and cover my mixing bowl and let the dough sit for at least an hour. I don't know why it sits, it just does. So after this, I actually don't know why the dough has to sit. I'll confirm. I'll confirm and put it in the description box. So just taking out the dough and beginning the process of now making the chapatis. After this, we will head on over to the fire and you will see greatness, great results. So flour all over the surface. I have thoroughly cleaned this surface, so that's something you should do. So basically, putting flour on literally everything, the surface, my hands, the rolling pin and everything before I begin rolling the entire dough. Once I've finished rolling all of it, I go ahead and pour oil on it. So yeah, some people usually add oil in a later stage, but I do it here. It's easier, it's less time consuming basically. So yeah, saturate the entire one chapati in oil and use the back of the same spoon. You could opt to use a knife for this, no biggie, just something that you can use to cut your dough into strips. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut up all of it until the end and begin rolling each individual strip. Something to note as you are rolling, right? So I've rolled and I'm like putting it into a ball and putting it to the side. That's what I'll do for each and every single strip. But something you will notice is not all your strips will create the sizes of chapatis that you want, because these strips are what will make your chapati. Like this one was a bit too big, so I left a portion, and you'll see the next one was small, so I combined this one that I'm currently doing with the previous leftover piece from the previous strip. Yeah. So these strips are actually your chapatis. So you want to make them in sizes that will produce good chapatis and the amount that you want. So now we are in the rolling stage. Most people tend to oil their chapatis at this stage, but since I already did that earlier, there is no need to do so. So for those who oil at this stage now, they will roll up their chapatis again and let it sit with oil. But there's just no need for that since I already did that earlier. So saturating the surface with flour, because you don't want your chapatis to stick to your surface, because that's how you end up with shapes that are not circular. So yeah, we don't want maps of Africa being the shape of your chapati. Okay, please, let's make nice circles. So yeah, rolling appropriately, evenly spreading out the dough, making sure like it's all even, the ends are not thicker than the center. There's like there's so much that goes into it, but that's something you develop with practice. You begin to master such things with time. I've been making chapo since I was like 11, so my guy. So yeah, these are the few that I will start with and head on over to the fire. Picking up is so crucial, which is why I'm replaying it. Observe. In slow motion even. There is no flour sticking to the surface, so the shape stays intact even when I put it onto the pan. That's why I insist on not being shy with the flour that you do use. So it's on the pan. I have put oil on the sides and then gone ahead to increase the fire after that. I'm using gas, which I don't usually use. I usually make my chapatis on a jiko, but there was no charcoal on that day, so I'm using gas. Letting it cook on one side, and then I'll go ahead and flip it once that side is ready. It looks ready. It should have these brown spots. It should kind of look burnt. That's normal for chapatis. If you don't have the brown spots, your chapati is not cooked properly on the inside. Right. So I'm gonna just show you from a distance. See how I place the chapati first and then oil it while the heat is on low? Right. That's what I was saying earlier. Then I'll increase the heat and then begin actually like monitoring the chapati as it cooks. then I'll flip it over once that one side is done. Add oil like I did in the beginning all around it, and let that oil flow throughout the chapati, if that makes sense, like up until it gets to the center and spreads out nice and evenly all under the chapati. So yeah, let that side cook as well. And yeah, sometimes the first side isn't ready, like when you flip it first, so you have to flip it back again and make sure it actually cooks properly. So yeah, hours later, 2 hours later actually, and we see the final results. All 24 chapatis, and only 3 made it to my plate. I did make some madondo, which is beans, and these are just the ingredients I used to make the beans. And on the side, you saw I had some veggies. Yeah, these are the spices I used for my beans. Hope you all enjoyed that recipe. Hope you learned something. Your voiceover imenipeleka na mbio, but hey, y'all. See you in my next video. If you do try out this recipe, give me feedback. If you're feeling a little bit extra, send me your reaction when you do try these chapatis for the first time. Trust, you'll be hooked on them. As in, my dad told me to start a kibanda the first time he tasted these chapatis because they were that good. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video, and remember that I love y'all a lot. Bye.